Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Big O Nerd. They don't have a tagline. The original OP is No Name Barista, posted to r/relationships May 10th, 2014. Me, male 17, I saw my girlfriend's sister, 24, full making out with a man, not her fiancé, at my work. I'm confused what to do. I work at a coffee shop, and I saw my girlfriend's sister full-on making out with this guy. They were all over each other. We were really busy, and I never would have noticed them except that my coworkers pointed them out because they need a room. This is a coffee shop. I immediately recognized her, and she's supposed to get married in July to another guy. They could not see me. I did not want to get involved. But after they left, I came out to clean some tables thinking the coast was clear. She came back in for something. I think to use the restroom or she forgot something. She saw me and flipped and started begging me to tell her what I saw. I said I didn't see anything, but she somehow knew. She left but told me that we weren't done and that we had to talk. I just got home and my girlfriend texted me asking me what's going on with me and her sister. I don't know what she told her, but I said, I don't know. She keeps texting me that her sister is upset and that I should come over. Not to sound like a little kid, but I'm not allowed to leave the house at this time. I texted her that my parents won't let me go there. She said they will drive to my house if I sneak out to meet them. I said that would be hard. She said, please. What can I do? What should I do? I'm a little freaked out right now. Too long didn't read. I saw my girlfriend's sister cheating on her fiancé. Now my girlfriend and her sister want to meet me. Not sure how to handle this. Comments. Deleted user. Keep it to yourself, as you said you planned, was probably the best idea. But if the sister has already told your girlfriend that something happened, you're now in the middle, whether you like it or not. I'd say something to your girlfriend, like, your sister needs to tell you what happened. It's not my place, and I don't want to be involved in this drama. Hopefully the sister will have the courage to be honest with your girlfriend. Lofi responds, okay, thank you, I'm desperate, she keeps texting me. User Ebhags comments, wow. Since her sister is freaking out so much, it sounds like the truth is going to end up coming out. Don't stress yourself out too much, you're not the guilty party, you're just a witness. I'm not sure why her sister didn't just try to forget it and pretend nothing happened. Now she's making it into a much bigger deal, and there's a good chance the secret's gonna get out. OP responds, by coming out, you mean that the fiancé is going to find out? I'm just stressed because I know it's really fucked up what she did. I know the guy she's engaged to. I got to know him last Christmas. He was really cool to me. I feel really bad for him. Deleted user. Your girlfriend likely isn't going to stop asking questions until she figures out what's going on. Regardless, it's not your fault if the fiancé finds out, and frankly, it might be in his best interest to know now rather than later. My guess is that her sister will confess but downplay the situation to a friendly kiss. And if that happens, it's up to you whether you're okay with that version or not. There is no right answer about how you should handle this. You're going to have to go with your own conscience about what feels right. You sound like a nice guy. Sorry you find yourself in this situation. OP responds, no right answer, huh? What feels right? Nothing is feeling right at this point. Keeping quiet feels wrong and saying something feels wrong. So what do you do when everything feels wrong? I mean, what would you do? Deleted user comments. Ultimately, the sister created drama by kissing the guy. Then she created more drama by telling her sister something happened that somehow involved you. So frankly, you could just text the truth, that you saw X making out with a guy at work, and let the chips fall where they may. It sounds like you were willing to let it all go quietly, but the sister seems to have messed up that option. This is not your fault. You didn't create the situation, so don't feel guilty about telling the truth when asked point blank, what happened? If that's what you want to do. OP responds, I can tell my girlfriend the truth, that's not a problem, but I feel bad for the fiancé. I think he should know. I know I was willing to play dumb, but I'm trying to put myself in his place and I would want to know. I think I should tell him, but if he doesn't believe me, then what? I feel really bad for him. He was too cool to me for me to just, not say something. I bet if I was 10 years older, I would know exactly what to do. I think I would.
Update 1 after 10 days, May 20th, 2014.
I finally told my girlfriend that I definitely could not sneak out of my house the night of the kissing. I told my girlfriend what I saw the next day. She said her sister is saying that's not what happened at all. She says that she hugged a guy hello because she knows him and ran into him there. Then she says she hugged him and kissed him on the cheek, but that he did get a little too hands-on with her and she immediately stopped it. I said, okay, if that's what it is, then that's what it is. I was working anyway, so whatever she says is what must have happened. So she texted me later saying the sister wants to talk to me. But by then, I was out with my parents. They have a no cell phone rule when we are in family outing, so my phone was in the car all day. When I did talk to the sister, she told me that the guy tried to get too touchy with her, and that's probably the part I had seen, but that it wasn't the makeout session that I thought. I said that's not what I saw, but it's not my business. She was really pissed that I wouldn't budge, but then I got some voicemails from the guy she kissed that night. He said that if I didn't answer his calls, he would personally come see me at work. I didn't know if that was a threat, but I did get kind of nervous. I told my supervisor at work. He said if the guy shows up, he'll take care of it. The guy showed up and asked for me, so he got kicked out of the coffee shop and got in a big heated argument with my supervisor outside. He never came back, so I was glad about that. My girlfriend broke up with me right after that, so I decided to just concentrate on finishing the school year strong. There are other girls that I have possible dates with, but losing my girlfriend is hard. I'm Facebook friends with the guy who got cheated on. I like him. He was always cool to me, but I'm not sure he would ever believe me anyway. My ex-girlfriend texts me really often, but I rarely respond to those as much as I want to. I'm still confused as to how we are the ones that ended up breaking up over somebody else's cheating. Edit, I came into work today and spoke to my supervisor again since he was one of the witnesses to the cheating. I told him I'm kind of friends with the guy being cheated on. He said call the guy and tell him to come in for some coffee on the house. Then we can talk to him together in his office. At that point, he says I can show him what I have and he can also talk to the girls who witnessed the whole thing with us. So I'm gonna message him on Facebook and see if he answers. If he does, I'm sure all hell will break loose. Too long didn't read. I haven't told the fiancé that he was cheated on. My girlfriend broke up with me. I'm not sure if this is the end of it. Comments. Kintu. My girlfriend broke up with me right after that. What was her reason? Could it have been her sister poisoned you against her because you're problematic for her current situation? Lofi responds. Her reason was that she has to be loyal to her sister, and right now her sister has a big problem with me. User Armchair Anger comments. Honestly, it sounds like you probably dodged a bullet here. You tried to avoid becoming wrapped up in the situation repeatedly, but her and her sister kept trying to convince you anyways. The fact that the guy then contacted you to threaten you, even if there was no explicit threats, quote, if you don't answer my calls, I'll show up at your work, end quote, is still an implicit threat. It's nuts. That's all sorts of sketchy and wrong. If it were actually a situation of, oh, he got handsy but I stopped it, there's no way that the sister would be contacting him to try to get him to shut you up. It's up to you whether or not you want to let her fiancé know that he's engaged with someone who's sending a grown man to threaten a teenager. But I will warn you, it's pretty easy for them to frame it as, oh, he's just acting out because my little sister broke up with him. If you still have the voicemail, you should probably send it to him as proof if you decide to inform him. Personally, I'd err on the side of caution and not get involved in that shitstorm. You're a kid. You don't need to deal with a grown couple's infidelity problems or risk having her side piece come after you again. Lofi responds, I have the emails and all the text messages. I kept them in case I have to explain stuff to my parents or the authorities. You never know. User Piggles Hunter. You need to tell your supervisor just how cool and awesome he is. No, really, you need to. You've got lots of integrity, and you still will when you and your supervisor sit him down and tell him the bad news. He needs to know. He deserves it. Be prepared for possible blowback from your ex and her sister. Rumors and lies and all that sort of thing causing problems between you and others you may care about. Take care. Lofi responds, he's pretty cool. It's easy to work for him because he's so easygoing. He's 9 years older than I am and way more experienced overall. He has that everything will be okay attitude. Update 2. After 13 days. 3 days from the last post. May 23rd, 2014. I PM the guy who got cheated on, and his first initial is S. We're going to be calling him Sam. Sam sent me a message back with his number, so I called. He said that he was told that I started a nasty rumor about his fiancé. I told him that it was about him, and that it's true. I told him all about it, but that he could come to the coffee shop and see for himself. He came Wednesday afternoon. My boss and I talked to him and told him the girls saw it too. He believes us, but he is coming back Sunday because the video system holds the last 30 days in memory, so my boss is going to show him. Sam was a little mad, but didn't look shocked. He thinks he knows who the guy is, so now this is where all hell broke loose. Sam broke up with his fiancé, so that's it. No wedding. I got a text from my ex saying that she hoped I was happy and that her sister's life is ruined. I do feel bad. Last night I was working and my ex's dad barges into the coffee shop, points his finger right at me and says, "You! Let's go outside, we're gonna talk!" He said it very, very loud and in front of all the customers. I froze for a second and he said, "Outside, right now, let's go!" I said, "Let me clock out first." I walked to the back to my boss's office and told him my ex's dad is here, and he's demanding I go outside with him. My boss goes over and says, "Hey, excuse me, can I help you?" My ex's dad told him it's none of his business and that he wanted me outside like he had all the authority in the world. So my boss says, "Well, this is my place, and you either buy coffee or get the hell out. But don't come in here and harass my employees like you own the place, and by the way, in case you were wondering, I'm the one who spoke to Sam and told him what, cheater's name here, did. So you and I need to go outside and talk." They marched out. Everybody was staring at me. One customer said, "What did you do to that man's coffee to make him so mad at you?" So they talked for like 10 minutes, and it looked like a yelling match. Then he left, and my boss came in and said everything's cool. This morning at school, I got a text from my ex that said, "Please don't go to work tonight because my sister's friends are planning something." I asked her what, and she said, "Just please don't go," and that she loved me. I'm not gonna lie, I did get kind of scared. Not to be a wuss. So I called my dad at work and told him everything. My parents came to get me at school, but when I went in the office, the cops were there with my ex in the assistant principal's office, and I could see she was crying. One of the cops came out, and my dad gave him my phone. My mom took me home and gave me her phone, then went back to the school. I called my boss, and he said he is sure the cops will come talk to me later. He told me to keep cool and let him know if I need anything. Then I got a text from Sam that said, "Hey, this is Sam. Are you okay? Your boss just called me." I called him and told him what I knew, but I'm not sure what's going on right now, so I'm waiting for my parents to get home to find out. I know Sam had to know, and he said that I did the absolute best thing by telling him, and that he owes me big time. But I can't say I feel totally great. It's not your average high school drama. It feels like I started something, then a tornado picked me up, and there's nothing I can do as it spins me around. You don't know where you're going to end up, and you have no control. It's not easy, that's all I'm saying, but right now, it's just a waiting game. Too long didn't read. I told Sam that he was cheated on, all hell broke loose, and now the cops are involved. This 100% reads like a scared teenager who put this update down to try to get their mind at ease in the meantime. Poor kid. Comments. Jarl of Detroit. Dude, considering this guy was engaged, you literally saved his life. Imagine if he married this woman and then divorced later or had kids. Hell, a divorce alone saved him half his net worth. Now he doesn't have to pay out for a wedding and future divorce with his cheating bimbo. Props on you. Hope he responds. He said he already paid some money for the wedding, which was in July, but he does not care at all to lose that money. User Serafina comments, "Your boss sounds awesome. Get him a nice thank you gift. Also, it sounds like you did the fiancé a big favor if this is what she and her friends and family are like. Stay safe." OP responds, "This is totally not how they come across. When you meet them, they're all nice. The dad has always been kind of a jerk, but they're really popular at their church and stuff. They participate in all the charity fundraisers, so they have a good side, but I guess people are not what they always seem to be." User Yayan177 comments, "Your boss is probably the coolest boss ever. Please do let him know he is great and is now a hero on Reddit." You have done absolutely the right thing, so please don't feel bad. Yourself is a hero, and I'm sure Sam appreciates you much. Please stay safe, and now that police is involved anyways, do get some protections from them if you can. Your ex-girlfriend's family obviously has doubtful moral values, and I'm glad you don't have to be related to them anymore. Your ex-girlfriend herself, while a lot of people will call her crazy as well, I do pity her. I imagine her to be doing a lot of the things under the pressure of her family. I mean, if her dad is so crazy that he would come to your workplace to yell at you, shouldn't he really be yelling at the guy she made out with? I can imagine him verbally, hopefully not physically, abusing your ex to make her leave you. It really is her own responsibility to be strong enough to refuse bullshit for herself, but it is not so easy. Anyways, my point is that she probably didn't want to be a part of this either. OP responds, I don't think she wanted to be part of this either. I'm sad that because I know she feels pressured by her family, but there's nothing I can do now. At least there is nothing that is coming to my mind to make things easier for her. Final update, after 20 days, 7 days from the last post, May 30th, 2014. Okay, long week. A lot has happened, but at the same time, nothing much has happened. My dad gave the cops my phone because my ex denied that she texted me to warn me. They needed a warrant to search her phone, so they wanted mine instead. They also heard the threatening voicemails and texts from the guy who came looking for me. The school called the cops after my dad called them. My ex's dad showed up too, and dad confronted him about coming to look for me at work. He denied it and said that he came looking for my boss. That is a total lie. The cops ordered him to stay away from me. They sent 2 cops to my house to talk to me. I can honestly say they were totally shocked that all this started because that girl cheated on her boyfriend. They both gave me business cards and their cell numbers for emergencies. My ex finally admitted that her sister's friends were planning on coming to the coffee shop and jumping me, and even bragged about how many bones they would break. I overheard my parents talking about her. My mom said her dad tried to shut her up. She's very worried about what will happen to her at home. The cops talked to my boss on Friday after talking to me and warned him to call if anything suspicious happened. So guess what? It did. The guy who cheated with the sister was parked behind the coffee shop with an older man. My boss spotted them and they flashed a baseball bat at him. He got their license plates and called the cops, but they were gone when they got there. But I'm pretty sure I have to quit my job now because my parents are going to make me. For now, my mom or dad is taking me to work, and my boss is taking me home since I used to walk. My ex texted me all week, begging to talk to me. Wednesday, I agreed to meet her before her softball practice. When I got there, the same 2 guys were parked across the street. They chased me, but I run cross country, so no chance. That is a very teenage thing to say. Last night, my dad called me at work to tell me that the cops went to the house to tell them the 2 men were arrested. He said multiple charges, including holding stolen property. The cops also said their criminal problems are big and they won't see the light of day for a long time. My ex has been texting me nonstop, swearing she didn't know they were there and didn't know they knew I was coming. I don't believe her. I was scared but tried not to show it to my parents. I still think telling Sam was the best thing, but it's just more trouble than I was ready for. I have never been this stressed out in my life. Sam saw the video and my boss said that he broke down, but that there is no way he is ever taking her back. He's moving to Utah. His dad owns a big trucking company, so he's transferring. He told my boss that his ex told him that she'll follow him to Utah and that she'll camp out in his driveway until he forgives her. I did ask my boss what his favorite bottle was, and he said Jack Daniels, so I got him one. I won't say how I got it, but I have a connection. Man, that is all for now. Frickin' BS drama. Too long didn't read, the school called the cops, 2 assholes came looking for me at work and at school, they're now in jail. Comments. Deleted user. Yeah, don't have any more contact whatsoever with your former girlfriend. Her entire family is insane and dangerous. Change your phone number and block her from social media. You're a brave kid who's done the right thing throughout this crazy ordeal. Hopefully it'll soon all be over and you can get back to your life. OP responds, yeah, I'm done with her. She's gonna get me killed if I don't walk. She's graduating and I have 1 more year of school, so I need to get that done. Then I'm joining my sister in California for college. And all of this will be behind me. User Pesky Humans comments, I've been waiting for this update. You're a stand-up guy. I'm super impressed with your composure and the way you've handled everything. Be proud. Glad the crazies are locked away. Sorry about having to quit your job. And please update us if you find out your ex-sister is pregnant, as was theorized by some from your last update. Opie responds, yeah, my boss thinks she's pregnant for sure. I don't know how to find that out without contacting my ex. I might hear of it if she is, but this is not a small town, so I may not. User Cyril Felix comments, well done. Keep an eye out for that ex though. Ugh, those guys don't just happen to show up at the park without someone saying something. Good on you for getting your boss that bottle too. Opie responds, she says her sister must have seen her text messages on her phone or had her friends follow her to practice. I don't think so. User Kathleen comments, hugs in 3 parentheses. That's a huge shame about the job. Remember this manager, get a LinkedIn profile and link to him. When you get successful, remember him as a good guy and hire him if he needs it. Don't contact Sam at all, block her number, unfriend her on Facebook. She set you up with a couple of convicts hoping they would beat you up. Did you tell your parents about that incident? I recommend restraining order. Her behavior needs to be on record. She has the decision to learn from her mistakes or keep repeating them. That's her decision. I'm proud of you. OP responds, I have a really good chance of getting hired at a pizza place that I eat at sometimes. I'm talking to the manager already just in case, but I really love my current job. I'm trying to convince my parents to let me keep it. The irony of the sister, in the process of trying to hide all the evidence, just ended up bringing everything to the surface at an accelerated pace. Like, by trying to do damage control, things just got really destructive, and then chalking it off to it just being a rumor or a lie or something, and then, oh boy, having your affair partner show up to his workplace? Yeah, that doesn't look guilty at all. Good God. I think OP is all the more safer to get the hell away from that family. It definitely appears to be one of those circumstances where on the outside, they're all good to go, super happy, involved in the community, but on the inside, oh boy, that is a disaster. Crazy to think that this was about 12 years ago. A lot of posts actually from today that are from like 12 years ago, funny enough. But still, hopefully in the time that it's been, OP's been able to find himself a good job, go to university in California, and, well, live the life he wants to. And hopefully he stayed the hell away from that ex. I suppose y'all haven't actually seen the other posts yet because this one will probably be first in the video's rotation while the other ones have already been recorded. So have fun with those ones! This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77 and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Waterbear171, posted to r/relationships November 3rd, 2014. My boyfriend just got married. Not to me. Am I an idiot for staying in the relationship? 25 female, 25 male, been together for 8 months. My boyfriend is in the military and absolutely hates his job and especially having to live on base with 18-year-old idiots in a place where his boss can come find him at any hour of the day or night and tell him to do something. Having had my fair share of bad living situations, I completely understand how that one facet of your life can make such a big difference, and I know how much he wants out. The problem is, he isn't a high enough rank to live off base unless he's married. He has brought up the idea a few times before, and I always told him it upset me to think of him marrying someone else, even just on paper. Last week, he started perusing it more intently with a coworker of mine who's Canadian and hoping to gain citizenship. We had a long talk, and I told him all of my concerns, and he told me that he was thinking about it as solely a business deal, and that it wouldn't change anything between us. I still told him I really didn't want him to do it. The next day, he picks me up at work and tells me he's meeting the girl to go get married that evening. I flip. He drops me off, and it takes me a 3-hour walk to talk myself into staying in the relationship, but he showed little to no remorse about it when we talked later. Just gave a trite apology when I asked for one, and hasn't been doing anything to try to make it up to me, or make me feel loved and respected. I am absolutely in love with him, and I want to be with him. I feel like we mesh so well, and we're perfect for each other. He assured me that he loves me and doesn't want our relationship to be temporary, etc. He won't be living with her. He'll get his own apartment, and she'll just have her name on the lease, and that will be her official residence. They'll have a joint checking account just for paying rent and bills, etc. Honestly, I see this working out very badly, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to get away with it. All of his coworkers and bosses know me or about me, so him suddenly being married to someone else is going to be a giant red flag. Not to mention, they're trying to screw with immigration laws, which is just such a ridiculously stupid idea since any casual look into either of them will make it obvious that they're not in a relationship, haven't had communication with each other before about a week ago, and are doing this as a scam. But there's no reasoning with him about it. Am I being stupid for staying in this relationship just because I'm in love, or is that enough to make it worth staying and trying to work things out? Too long didn't read, my military boyfriend just entered into a contract marriage for benefits and citizenship. She's Canadian. I don't know if I'm stupid for trying to convince myself to stay. Relevant comments. User, I like to give advice. Comments. Are you kidding? Yes, you are an idiot for staying in this relationship. For the record, what your boyfriend is doing is incredibly illegal. I believe the penalties for doing this are also much harsher for enlisted than for a civilian if/when he gets caught. OP responds, yeah, I know. I think he made an incredibly stupid decision. The potential consequences for both of them are incredibly high. He could get fired, which will have major negative impacts on the rest of his life trying to get jobs. She could get deported. They could both be fined ridiculously and/or go to jail. It just sucks because before this happened, everything was so wonderful with him. We're so ridiculously happy together. He just made such a stupid, irresponsible, reckless mistake. User Remember Coombe Valley comments, that is not a mistake. That is a series of decisions. Don't give him that mental out. That is deliberate and carefully chosen. It's phenomenally dumb, but it's not an accident. The same user posted in his own comment. First of all, OP, stop talking yourself into staying with this guy. It's only been 8 months. He's showing you who he is now. And who he is a real dick. He's defrauding his government. He's going to end up dishonorably discharged and unemployed. And he obviously has no respect at all for his relationship with you or for you yourself. Love is great, love is important, but love is not enough. I feel like we mesh so well. Then why isn't he listening to you when you tell him how uncomfortable this makes you? And we're perfect for each other. Then why is he marrying someone else? This might actually be the best guy you've ever dated, OP. This might be the healthiest, sanest, most pleasant relationship you've ever had. But it's still not good enough. It's still not what you deserve. Move on. OP responds, yeah, that was really hard to read because it is the very best relationship I've ever had. I feel more strongly about him than anyone I've ever been with, but I'm afraid you might be right, and it really, really, really sucks. Seraph213, a number of things going on here that are both against military regulations and federal law. 1. Adultery is forbidden in the military. Not because they care who screws who, but because of situations exactly like this. Marriages of convenience are punishable by the UCMJ. If he's caught with you after he gets married, it's all over. 2. Immigration fraud is a federal offense. It's actually called benefit fraud. It carries a sentence of up to 5 years in prison and fines up to $250,000. 3. Marriage fraud in general is against the UCMJ. Here's a story of a few guys caught doing this. Unfortunately, that link 404s. All of that aside, why not just marry you? If he's really that intent on doing this just to get out of the barracks, horrible still but less illegal and considerably more believable, he doesn't seem like someone who returns your feelings as strongly as you'd hope he does. Kick him to the curb. OP responding to the idea of why not just marry OP? He could, but he's not ready to be actually married, so it would still be a contractual thing. And I'm not about to do that. He actually proposed it once, then told me he felt guilty for thinking about using me that way. OP responding to the general sentiment, has OP spoken to the bride-to-be? Yes, she's on a student visa. I actually talked to her today to try to talk sense into her. Not to save the relationship, it's definitely clear that that's over now, but because she doesn't deserve to be deported or jailed because he's an idiot. Apparently, all she wants is permanent residency, not citizenship, just for things like access to scholarships and other opportunities that are not available to international grad students. Still, I imagine this going all kinds of wrong. OP updated the next day, November 4th, 2014, the same post. Edit. Thanks, internet strangers. I think I knew as soon as it happened that the relationship was doomed. Honestly, on Thursday when we talked about it and he was so completely resistant, I knew. But he tried to make me believe that I was the one being selfish and unreasonable and overly emotional. And because I love him, I tried to believe him. I tried to convince myself that I could excuse this, that it wasn't a big deal, that it wasn't worth breaking up over. I needed strangers to tell me that I'm not the insane one, that it's insane to think about being with a person who would do something like this. So thank you for the validation. Update, November 17th, 2014, 2 weeks later. I feel like I'm not allowed to be sad about losing the person I loved just because it ended badly. I'm not looking for advice, I just feel like I need a safe place to express what I'm actually feeling. My, 25 female, ex-boyfriend, 24 male, did something so incredibly, unbelievably hurtful, thoughtless, and disrespectful. And then tried to make me feel like I was being irrational for thinking we couldn't make it work. For the full story, see this. Link to the previous post. That I had to break up with him after an 8-month relationship. May seem like nothing to many of you, but it was the longest relationship I have ever had, so it seems epic to me. His actions during this time showed me clearly that he had little to no regard for me and never truly loved me. In fact, when we were breaking up, he actually told me that it was never real. Obviously, I was and am angry. I'm angry that I was treated that way. I'm angry that he would do that, say that. I'm angry at myself for ignoring the warning signs and staying with him as long as I did. I'm angry at her for marrying him. I'm angry with both of them for going on a camping trip together with people I introduced him to. People I have to work with. Less than a week after we broke up. I'm angry. But I'm also really sad. It hurts that I lost my best friend, the person I was closest to, the person I loved. It is painful to lose my companion, the person I spent at least 48 hours straight with every weekend. It's really hard to try to figure out how to be alone, even though he never thought about it in these terms, even though it was never real. I miss being an us. I'm really heartbroken, and I miss him. And that's the hardest thing about this, because all of my friends are rallying to my side and supporting me and calling him an asshole and telling me how much better off I am without him and that I shouldn't have a problem getting over such a thoughtless idiot. But I am. And I can't go to them with my sadness. They won't get it. They'll tell me he doesn't deserve my tears. They won't allow me to feel what I'm feeling. It confuses and angers me too, because I know it's true that I'm better off without him. I can look back in time and identify red flags. I can see actions I excused as what they really were. Selfish and thoughtless. I know that I deserve better and I don't want him back, but I'm still really sad that I lost him. This is a terrible ranting post and I'm sorry. Thank you for giving me an outlet to express my confusing emotions and grieve for my failed relationship. For what we had, for the dreams I had of what we could have been. Too long didn't read. I'm sad over the end of a relationship that everyone expects I should be over because it ended badly, and I need space to feel my grief. Judging by the fact they went on a camping trip together, I'm inclined to believe this isn't just a contract marriage and there might be more going on here, or there was almost 12 years ago. And the thing is OP is not grieving the relationship she had with the guy. She's grieving the relationship she thought she had with the guy. The one where she thought that they would end up together and have the potential future. And it's okay to grieve that. It's okay to grieve a future you thought you would have. It does seem that her friends don't fully, grasp that there is a difference between grieving the relationship you thought you were going to have versus grieving what you actually had. Especially by the sounds of it, this being OP's first serious relationship. I hope in the past 12 years that you've been able to grow and find yourself and actually find yourself someone who is able to give you the kind of relationship that you're hoping for and wanting from life. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77 and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Purple Kangaroo, posted March 5th, 2026. Asked my boyfriend of 5 months if he knew my middle name. Turns out, he didn't know much else either. Hi everyone, I'm posting this because I genuinely wanted to know if I overreacted or if this is actually weird. I, 25 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 25 male, for about 5 months. Overall, the relationship felt good. We spent a lot of time together, went on trips, and things seemed pretty serious, and I've already met his parents and extended family multiple times. He hasn't met mine yet, but they live states away, so that's understandable. However, I had started to have this sneaking feeling coming up every once in a while where I realized he might not actually know that much about me. Like something would come up in my life, or I'd be talking with friends about a story from my past and I'd think, wow, he's never even asked me about that. Things like my childhood, what my family dynamic is like, details about my work, or even the summer I spent living in another state for an internship. None of those things had really come up because he'd asked about them. At the time, I kinda brushed it off. I figured maybe we just hadn't gotten around to those conversations yet. Maybe a little more context for how I found this out. Should I have talked to him about this in a different situation? Probably, but whatever, it's too late now. We were out at a bar with friends, and we were definitely quite a few drinks in. At one point, we called an Uber to go home, and when it asked for the drop-off address, he couldn't remember my address. This was a little weird because he had been to my apartment a lot and had literally put my address into his maps multiple times before. But hey, it's not a super memorable number, so I brushed it off. While we were outside waiting for the Uber, though, something just came over me. Yes, alcohol was definitely involved, but I suddenly got curious and asked him if he knew my middle name. Silence. So then I asked if he knew my parents' names. Nothing. Where I was born. Nothing. What I majored in college. Nothing. At this point, I was kind of half laughing, half horrified. So I kept going, trying to think of other questions, like if he knew my family's cat's name. Literally grasping for straws. He's a self-proclaimed cat person. Still, nothing. Meanwhile, I knew the answers to all those things, no matter how intoxicated. I know a lot about him, stories about his childhood, how his parents met, things from college, his favorite foods and desserts, etc. I'm actually the kind of person who keeps a note in my phone with little things about people I care about, so I remember them later. Like what he likes to order at different restaurants, random facts about his childhood, even what he wanted to be when he grew up. I was never expecting him to get every answer correct on my quiz, but not one? Realizing he didn't know any of those basic things about me felt kind of shocking, and that's when it really hit me that my boyfriend of several months might not actually know much about me at all. And naturally, I started sobbing on the sidewalk outside the bar. We eventually went home and I tried to explain why it upset me so much. I told him it made me feel invisible, like I could basically be swapped in for any other girl. He did apologize for forgetting those things, but he didn't really seem to understand why it was such a big deal. He mostly just kept saying he was drunk and that he wouldn't forget again. What hurt me the most, though, was that in that moment, he didn't really try to comfort me either. At the bar or at home, he didn't hug me or reassure me, and he didn't say things he did know about me to show that I mattered to him. Meanwhile, I was just crying and really emotional, and he ended up falling asleep while I was still crying. Now it's been a couple of days, and I'm honestly not even sure if I can get over it. So I'm curious what people think. Is it weird that my boyfriend of 5 months didn't know these things about me, or did I massively overreact because alcohol and emotions were involved? Too long didn't read, boyfriend of 5 months couldn't remember basic things about me, middle name, parents' names, where I was born, etc., while we were drunk at a bar. I ended up crying because it made me feel invisible. Am I overreacting? Relevant comments. Killed by the broom. Are these things you have specifically told him about yourself? Because I think the context matters a lot. LP responds, those are all things we've absolutely talked about before. I actually have his middle name written down in my notes along with the story behind why he was named that. He's met my parents over FaceTime before, and technically my family cat too. Although that one was kind of a long shot question anyway. I'm in grad school and talk about my research pretty often, so even if he didn't remember exactly what I majored in, he probably could have at least ballpark guessed it. And where I was born and how my parents met are stories that have definitely come up multiple times as well. Top comments. Joel Andrin. Ask him if he knows who broke up with him today. User Ruth Barb comments, I had this happen. Your history is unimportant because you only exist to entertain him now. He doesn't care. Update, March 8th, 2026, 3 days later. First, thank you to everyone who commented on my last post. Most of the responses were incredibly kind and thoughtful, and I really appreciated getting other people's perspectives. And to the handful who were concerned about the fact that a 25-year-old girl cried at a bar after a few drinks, God forbid #sue me. Yes, this whole thing was incredibly poor timing and I could have handled it better. And yes, it's entirely possible he was just drunk and overwhelmed in the moment. While all those things have definitely come up in conversation multiple times before, I've realized this was never really about my middle name, which the initial is literally in my Instagram username, but I digress. It was more symbolic of a larger issue and forced me to confront something I had been feeling for a while / been too scared to bring up. A lot of our conversations stayed in the present and didn't really involve many follow-up questions. Over time, that started to bug me because I'm a very extroverted person, and I literally could yap all day, but people only really get to know you when they're curious enough to ask. After that night, we did have a serious, calm conversation about it while sober. He apologized for forgetting those things and said he froze in the moment and didn't know what to do when I was crying, which confused me because my instinct in that situation would probably be to comfort my partner. What I tried so hard to express is that I want to feel known by the person I'm dating. I want him to be curious about my life, remember things that matter to me, and have the emotional awareness to comfort me in difficult situations. Apparently, those were crazy asks. And ultimately, we ended up breaking up. The conversation never really felt fully resolved, and we were just going in circles without real understanding. He later texted me saying he felt like he was a major issue, thought I was amazing, and wished he could be more for me, but didn't think he was capable of being the partner I needed. I guess the problem just solved itself. I think more generally, he was far out of his emotional depth, and we have very different ideas about what it means to truly know and show up for a partner. It's definitely hard still reconciling the relationship I thought I was in with the one I may have actually been in. I do think he's a good guy, and in some ways I do believe he cared about me, but I realize that feeling truly seen and understood by your partner matters a lot more to me. In hindsight, there were probably also small yellow flags I should have noticed too, like when he wrote on my Valentine's Day card that he was so grateful for all that I do for him. Reading your responses helped solidify what I was already feeling and quiet some of the self-doubt I had. It is definitely for the best, but I'm still processing everything, so I'd appreciate kind/insightful comments rather than comments telling me I was just a wormhole. Wormhole. Worm. Fuck. I am so sorry. Anyways, thanks guys. Less than 3, or heart emoticon. Too long didn't read, the middle name incident highlighted bigger compatibility issues and we ended up breaking up. I guess it boils down to, was the boyfriend just not ready or mature enough for a relationship? Did he just have different aspirations for what he wanted from the relationship? Or did he just see his girlfriend as kind of like a token, look guys, I made it, I'm normal kind of thing, but didn't really give a shit beyond that? I tend to lean towards it just being him not emotionally ready or mature enough for a relationship, considering he did recognize his faults and even admit, I don't think I'm quite the person you need for a relationship. But also, it is 100% fair that after a 5-month relationship, for you to be upset about the fact of like, yeah, you don't know my middle name, you don't know shit about me. And then his response was to just simply leave it and not even try to, console her or do anything about the problem that she was having with him just simply not knowing her. I also don't think it's a crazy request to, at least desire your partner of, 5 months to at least have a little bit of interest in who you are as a person. Oh boy, it's the outro, the new rambly outro that isn't just a copy and pasted one of 2 outros that I've been using for God knows how long. Ironically, what started as a way for me to just save time and not make a new outro plug just turned into, well, this. Don't forget to use code OZ at checkout with GamerSupps, link in the description below. They've got really nice and comfortable shirts that work well as pajama shirts. They also have good caffeine-free, and sleep aid formula stuff. It's good. Big fan of it, drinking it right now while recording. I'm also making really good progress on getting my backlog built so I can actually have a couple days off. It's been going really well. I'm really looking forward to it. The hope and plan is by maybe when I, finish my little break or leave, I'm gonna see if I can aim to actually give myself weekends or time off by, kind of working ahead of the clock and maybe doing like 1.3 videos per day or 1.5 videos per day. I don't know, we'll see if that works. I tried it in the past, kind of fell through for a bunch of reasons, but I'll give another swing. Because for the past year, I think I've only actually had like maybe 14 days off. So that'll be nice. Also, I was thinking back to the whole, the Reddit narwhal bacons at midnight and Tumblr shoelaces comparison. And I thought about it again, and it's such a damn shame. Because the most obvious solution to the whole shoelaces, Reddit argument, and for those of you who aren't aware, it was in another outro, basically, to identify another Tumblr user, you just ask, hey, I like your shoelaces, and they're supposed to respond, thanks, I stole them from the president. Just an easy way to identify other Tumblr users without making yourself look like a creep. Unlike the Reddit form of a narwhal bacons at midnight. Well, anyways, I thought of the one to replace a narwhal bacons at midnight, and it's literally just as simple as, hey, have you read any good reading material lately? Then the person responds, if they're a Reddit user, oh yeah, I read it a lot. Boom! Done! Easy! You don't look like an idiot asking random people if the narwhal bacons at midnight. Good God! But yeah, I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Take care.